and Networking Podcast promotes entrepreneurs, startups, authors, business experts throughout the world. Available on all major podcast platforms. I'm Tom Reaoch, an American known as the King of Networking, connecting people and speaking from my studio in Vinhedo, São Paulo, Brazil. And today we talk with Limor Bergman Gross. She joins us from Israel. Limor Bergman helps women in tech get to the next level. Limor is a career coach, a mentor with over 20 years as a software engineer, manager, and director of engineering. She knows firsthand how it is like being a woman in a very male-dominated field. So Limor, share some of your tips on how women can network when they're in tech and also if they're an introvert.
Hi, Tom. First of all, thank you for having me here. Pleasure to be here. So I consider myself an introvert myself. And people all the time are surprised about that because I talk in many podcasts and I do lives and all that, but it's something I work on, right? I work on myself. I think that first of all, at your workplace, try to find opportunities to meet people.
Right.
Now I know that everyone is virtual. If you are working at least occasionally in an office space, try to find opportunities either to meet at a coffee, break area, or even go for lunch with people. Best if it's people that you don't know very well. And if it's virtual, I know that many companies are using different tools like Slack, for example. That's a big one in tech. And there are a lot of channels in this tool. It's like small groups of people based on interest areas. So try to find different channels based on your interest areas and start chatting with people on different topics. And that's how you can get to meet and know people and then maybe offer them to meet one-on-one, again, if it's a virtual setup.
You mentioned that you're introvert, but my impression is my personal impression that in the tech industry, many techies seem to be self-concentrated. They're not necessarily introvert, but they're so highly focused on what they're doing. They tend not to develop personal relationship. Is that true, not only for women, but for men?
I think it very depends on the role they're doing. Definitely in the area I'm coming from, which is software development, I would say in general, people that are working as software developers are more on the introverted side than on the extroverted side because the type of work is very technical. It's more hands-on, and it's basically you.
That's you.
So you basically right in front of a computer solving some technical problem. But there are other areas, right, in tech that require more interaction. First of all, leadership. Obviously, as you grow into a leader, you are required to meet different people and present and be more outspoken. And in different roles like product management, sales, marketing, in those areas, you definitely need um, to meet people, to network, and to be able to interact.
And in each of those those roles you just mentioned, is there more room for women?
I think there's more room for women in all the aspects, in all the areas, for sure.
Now, your focus on career development and mentoring. Are
Yes.
your clients only women, or are you open to mentoring men as well?
I mentor both men and women. If you ask me what is my passion and what is my purpose, it's definitely to make a difference in the gender gap in the tech industry. I want to help more women succeed and thrive.
Well, part of that, you say, let's close the gender gap in tech, but I also feel that many men really don't know how to relate to women professionally. Is that true?
I don't know if they don't know how to relate, or maybe they don't think about how they should interact differently with women rather than men. And what I mean by that is that women tend to take things a little bit sometimes more personally. And they a lot of time have more confidence challenges than men at the workplace, at least what I've seen. And men a lot of time tend to be competitive and very, I don't know if to say aggressive, but sometimes can be seen as aggressive. I don't think they mean to necessarily, but that's kind of the way they interact.
Well,
It's more,
I tend to agree with you because I've interviewed many people on the subject, and that seems to come out. And recently talked about power and empowerment. Men think of physical power, physical energy, where women are more multiple in their approach to events in general, to business in general.
yeah.
So, in your what you offer for mentoring and coaching, is that worldwide? You are virtual. People can find you from any place in the world to ask for your help.
Yes, absolutely. I'm fully virtual. I'm also working locally here in Israel. However, I work virtual. I started working remote at the beginning of 2016, well before COVID, and I'm pretty much used to it, and that's the way of living for me.
Well, I've seen you've had extensive experience in the United States, also in the tech industry, correct?
Yes, correct. I lived there for 9 years. I moved around also. And so I'm very fortunate that I got to experience living in different countries, in different states. It's good.
No, I think it's good, and my impression of Israel, it's one of the best examples of innovation and tech in an expansive field, leadership. So, I want to commend you on what you're doing and where you're doing it.
Thank you so much, Tom.
And thank you, Limor. We're coming to the end of our time, so congratulations again. And for our listeners, it's mentoring and career development. And more information about Limor Bergman, it's Limor. The last name is Bergman. And you can find more about her coaching on LinkedIn and her site, which is limorbergman.teachable.com. Café and Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information on their site, focusmi.com. Thanks for listening. Till the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.